What is up, legend? On the other side of the screen, whether you're watching this or listening to it, I'm super grateful for your presence, and you are in for a treat. Today's podcast was one of the wildest conversations I've ever had in my entire life. And that conversation happened with the one and only Meagan Craigo, who is known online as ValkyrieUntamed. And Meagan is a multifaceted artist. She's also a Marine veteran. She served for 10 plus years in the military. So she's an American hero. And now she is creating a beautiful life and expressing herself in many different ways. She's all over social media. You can find her potentially on ONLYFANS if that's your thing. No judgment if it is. And we're gonna dive deep into her journey, her spiritual awakening, and her military service, and how she is doing everything in her power to escape the matrix and live a life on her terms. I'm really confident this conversation is gonna make you laugh. It might make you cry from how hard you're laughing, and it might open up your mind and expand different parts of your life and open up just new neural pathways. Even if you're not microdosing right now, I think you're gonna leave this conversation with an open heart, an open mind. Now, let's get after it. All right, so Meagan, my intention for this podcast is to really get to know you and your fascinating story of life. Like, I feel like you've lived so many different lifetimes and you're only 32, I think. So yeah, I'm really excited to connect and cultivate a connection together and really just drop in, because this podcast is all about just authentic expression. Recording? And we could be potentially. Oh. And this podcast is all about authentic expression and really sharing parts of yourself that maybe people have never seen before. And I think it's really cool when you put yourself in a space where you just feel fully safe sharing whatever's on your heart. And my intention is to just hold the space for you. And yeah, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me come on here and share my story with you.
Yes, there's a lot to unpack.
I've been dying. You know, I told you I wrote Joe Rogan a letter asking him to be on his podcast, but I think I scared him off with my story.
Well, I'm glad that I can be second in line to Joe Rogan. That's an honor. So listen, this is going to be a great opportunity and moment to really share some of the deepest parts of your soul. And I'm really excited for that.
I'm excited too.
Yeah. And there's so many places we could start.
I know. So first off, I'll say I'm a spiritual teacher. I initiate spiritual leaders into the third level of esoteric teaching. So when I speak in terms of quantum physics and quantum mechanics. So if you don't understand anything that I'm talking about, you can be like, hey, can you rephrase that? And then I'll bring it back down a little bit.
You'll dumb it down to Jeremy's level.
Yeah, I'll do it. Because one thing also too, I was in the military for 10 years. So my job was instructing and teaching. I had a job in martial arts. So I was a martial artist, but not just any martial artist. I was a red tab, which is like the highest level you can go. And then I was also a combat instructor. So I taught 18-year-olds how to fire a rifle and all this stuff. And that's kind of like the background that I have on teaching and being able to articulate my thoughts.
Can we go back?
Yeah, we can go back.
Even further into you as a little girl and how you ended up pursuing the path that you're on now. Where did you grow up? What was your childhood like? I'm so curious.
So, and this is found too and I'm going to refer to my own sacred geometry, because when you're on a path of self-exploration, you go through the whole astrology phase and all that. So I'm referring back to that. So my Mercury is sextile Lilith at 0 degrees, meaning that I'm like the full-blown energy of going against God and like the rebel, you know, the like doing it my way. So I was a very like angry child. I hated myself. I was literally a devil child. Like it was I hated myself. So
where did you grow up, and were your parents together?
no,
Did they separate?
were separated. Yeah, they were separated. And I went through a lot of trauma as a child, just in general. A lot of trauma, and a lot of that has to do too with, you know, the generational trauma as well. So it's funny because my mother, she grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, and she left them at 17, moved out, and that's when she got pregnant with me. So her going against God, that energy, it passed down to me. So that's all I knew. So I didn't grow up with any kind of faith or religion or anything like that. It was the complete opposite.
So your mom had you at 17?
18.
18.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And was she raising you by herself? Was your dad around at all, or no?
No, so my father, he has all his trauma, and he wasn't there because he was an alcoholic. I just started rekindling my relationship with him.
Oh, wow.
And so when I was growing up, he was a very severe alcoholic.
It's crazy when you get older, right? And you start to do this inner work, and you start to cultivate self-awareness, and then you're able to look back at your childhood with this different lens of oh, wow.
Yes.
My parents were actually just grown-up children when they gave birth to me, with their own traumas, their own emotional wounds, and they didn't really necessarily know what they were doing, and they probably were doing the best they could with the tools they had.
Exactly.
But they also probably fucked up in some areas. And I feel like it's up to us to be leaders of our lineage and not play the victim, and actually take ownership of our life and use all of the lessons from our childhood as opportunities to heal, to grow, and to help others on their journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I was a very immature child. And yeah, I was that child also who, looking back now, I'm wow. I was and it was only because I was learning how to handle my own energy. So these aren't my real teeth. I actually grew up with gaps in all of my teeth.
Nice. I have a gap here.
I love your gap. I love your gap. I do. I love it.
You think it's cute?
I do.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
And that really fucked with me a lot. And there's actually a poem in my book. And the poem is, the devil wakes up every morning and looks at his reflection and hates himself. But the question is your reflection that of the sun, moon, stars? Or is your reflection that of a blue lit screen? And nowadays, the content creators, the influencers, they're living in a screen. And there's another poem titled Step Out of the Screen, and that's ultimately what we also call the matrix and the programming and the artificial intelligence. So when I was little, I would always escape with movies and music. And it's so funny because Megan Fox, I always wanted to be her growing up. And so she was kind of me looking at my higher self through a screen, because she's actually very intelligent.
Yeah.
And we have the same Jupiter placements as well, which is the planet on wisdom and growth and expansion. But yes, I hated myself. Every single day, I would look in the mirror, and I remember there were days I'd slap my face in the I hated myself.
How old were you when you were going through this?
Probably when I started becoming hormonal.
Okay.
So around 13.
So not having your dad around at all, as a little girl, must have impacted you in a profound way.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
We all need that masculine nurturing energy, and you didn't have that growing up. So
nope.
Daddy issues are a real thing.
Daddy issues are a real thing. And I think that's part of the reason why I decided to join the Marine Corps at 18 years old.
Tell me more.
Yeah. So I remember I broke up with a boy, and I just knew it was because of how I looked. And now that I look back, I'm like, it's because I hated myself. That it like, I thought everybody else looked at me like a monster. And the only reason I wanted to join the Marine Corps was because they had free dental, right? And that was the driving force. So my whole life has been a driving force of wanting to go against God and change how I look. And so I joined the Marine Corps at 18, like right after high school. And then, I went in as a motor T operator. And then from there, you get like all this extra training and stuff. And in 2014, that's when I had my daughter while I was in the military. So I went through the whole being pregnant in the military around men. Like it was horrible because I remember I was pregnant having to do like grease points on a truck and like all like the military. When I went through the military, it was a grind.
Not the best place
not the best
for a woman to feel
not
safe.
No, not.
Did you feel safe, or would dudes kind of try and do weird shit?
No, I didn't feel safe at all. It was like, it's like one of those, well, I also didn't have a voice either. I didn't have a voice, because of how I looked. I never spoke up. My throat was blocked. I never spoke up. I never said no. I just let everybody run through me. Not like literal sense, but energetically.
Yeah. Energetically.
And it was all their from the moment I got my teeth fixed, it was all the energies. But these are actually fake. So these come out. These veneers.
So what happens when you take them out? You don't have to do it.
So so I only do that for shamanic ceremonies, shamanic healing ceremonies and womb circles, because every shaman has one tooth that's either gone or has a cavity or whatever. And as a shaman, I personally love it, but other people may look at me like a meth addict or some kind of psychopath, because we live in a society where people judge you based off how you look. And so for shamanic ceremonies, I'm able to suck out the stagnant energy within their chakras and work with their own Kundalini snake based off my own numerology codes, and basically suck out the energy that no longer serves them. Wow. I don't know if you've ever seen a shamanic ceremony done.
Well, I mean, I've sat with ayahuasca ceremony and stuff like that with a shaman. So
yes. Yeah. So also my background with that comes from the Navajo Native American teaching. So my best friend is Navajo.
Let's rewind just because I want to talk about this 10 years in the Marines.
Yes.
Right. So from 18 to 28, you're in the Marines full time, right? And you are climbing the ladder. You're building respect in that space. And did you get deployed overseas? Were you mostly in the US?
I went to Okinawa.
Okay, so you're in Japan.
I was in Japan, yes.
Okay. I'm getting the geisha vibes from you. Is it geisha
really?
Or geisha?
Geisha vibes?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
The chopsticks.
So once you joined the military, that was kind of to maybe create structure in your life.
Absolutely.
So what kept you in there for 10 years? And then also, after you answer that, I'd love to know what type of impact that left on you mentally. I'm really committed to helping people, soldiers who come back and they have PTSD, because I feel like the VA just doesn't give a shit about them. And I'm curious to know, why did you decide to stay in the military so long? And then what have been the repercussions since leaving 4 years ago?
So, that's something I want to hit on too, especially for veterans who leave the military. So it definitely built structure, and within my own framework, it built upon my masculine energy, 100%. My overall, who I am as a person, my being responsible, being able to provide for myself, all the courses that I did in the military as far as it relates. So I'm also a Reiki practitioner. I have that certification. But all my anatomy physiology courses that I took in the military, because they're very in depth. Like you can leave the military and have a degree, college degree, basically. Like I think I got out of the military about 62 credits just from boot camp alone.
So there must have been something that was serving your needs by being in the military. You know, so once you're in there for a few years, are you enjoying it? Are you feeling more secure now that you got your teeth fixed? What's the situation?
Honestly, I like the control of it. I was a platoon sergeant. I liked that I held like, I'm a sergeant, I'm a sergeant in the Marine Corps, and I'm an MAIT martial arts instructor trainer. Like I like the control, but also you got to think too. So when my daughter passed away in 2014, and anytime someone endures anything traumatic, your body picks it up instantly, and your mind takes however long to process, that traumatic event actually happened to you. And I can go in depth about that on a somatic kinesiology level, like how it affects you physically. But so part of the reason me wanting to stay in the military was because of my trauma. And it was like, so anytime a human sees death, unless they're taught about death at a young age, they now have to process, and that this can relate to like any male soldiers who've had to, unalive someone overseas or anything like that, because I know there's a lot of PTSD that involves Iraq, Afghanistan. So anytime the body sees death, your mind, it takes a while for your mind to like pick up like, holy shit, I just lost a daughter. So when that happened, I was in the military. I was 4 years in the military, and that was a whole thing. And it was like, I am holding my dead 3-month-old daughter in my hands. But my mind, so I went, after that happened, the command, they were really good about giving me my space, but then like, after that happened, my spirit went to a deep, dark place. And that was kind of like the day that I entered into the algorithm, the algorithm being the internet, the interweb. So, and it did that because on a spiritual somatic level, my like serotonin dopamine receptors were non-existent. So I was getting serotonin from a screen, from like social media. And this was way before Instagram took off. And like, I remember like I went to some of these like websites just to like, and these, again, my daddy issues, just to get like fulfillment from like that's when I started the whole Dom sub, like exploring the kink side of things. But it was only because I had no it was like giving me energy to, and it's fucked up to say that, but like when.
So what were some of those sites?
What else sites did I go to?
Don't pretend like you don't know.
What's the one? Oh, FetLife.
What's it called?
FetLife.
FetLife, like fetish life? Okay,
Yeah,
so what's that about?
It's like a thing, yeah. But it was like because I wanted that masculine, like I wanted.
So are you consuming content, or how does it work?
I was like. So I also have a huge background in like the whole kink side of things.
Okay. A lot to learn.
I like wanted to, for me, it was comforting to like submit to someone online.
Okay.
And
So
like
it's
have
like
them build
virtual,
me back up.
Okay.
But like when that happened, I couldn't look people in the eyes. Because I was so dead. Like my womb had literally died, like on a spiritual level, like my womb was dead. And it was like, I went through this basically 10 years of hell up to my spiritual awakening. And during that time when I was in the algorithm, And I don't know if we want to go down this hole yet.
I like entering all the holes.
Okay. So the algorithm hole. So when I know I told you we were going to like bring up biblical references, which I actually have my Bible. I keep my Bible on me all the time now. 24/7, sleep with it, everything. But so my name has 666 in it. I don't know if you told your little friends about that.
No, I didn't tell my little friends that.
So my name, each name is 6 letters long. Meagan, Leanne, Martha, 666.
But I'm sure there's a lot of people who have the 666.
No.
Really?
No.
How special do you think?
Well, my name also equals 22.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, his name was 11. And so 22 is a master number.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, what are you here to master in this lifetime? And for me, it's mastering life and death, like the divine feminine, divine masculine. How to balance those energies, how to make them coexist, how to make artificial intelligence and Mother Earth exist as one. Because I view so the energy of artificial intelligence is EM frequencies. Like they're here. You can't just escape the EMF frequencies unless you like want to go live in the forest with nothing, which you can do.
Yeah.
But then you're just playing Delulu like it doesn't exist.
Exactly. You're avoiding actually this life, this world.
Exactly. And so the EMF, the artificial intelligence is a double-edged sword. It really is. So during my time in hell, I will say my time in hell, I built an algorithm, my algorithm being, my social media platforms, which I've been working really hard to build those up. But it was my nervous system was completely attached in the phone, in the screen. So the only reason, looking back now, the only reason I wanted to become a martial arts instructor trainer or stay in the military was because it was growing my platform.
Got it.
Yeah, so it was growing my platform. And looking back now, like I see how I was a bitch in the military. Like I was.
And as a platoon leader, are you like giving a lot of men orders?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. And yeah, like I'm giving them orders, but it was like, so there's 3 types of females in the military: the bitch, the lesbian, and the pregnant one, and the one who sleeps around.
Oh, really? There's those?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love them all, but I wanted to be that woman who was basically trying to be the same as a man.
Okay.
So that's also when I started getting into powerlifting and strongman and bodybuilding and all this stuff, because I wanted to be on their same level. And I had to be, especially in the military, because think about it. An 18-year-old boy is not going to listen to a woman. They're already joined the military, so they have mommy issues and daddy issues and stuff. Not all of them, but most of them. And they're not, especially being a woman in the military, like nobody listens to you unless you can outlift them in the gym.
Wow.
Unless they see you putting up weight in the gym, like, oh yeah, she puts up like all this weight in the gym, like you better respect her like that, along with like, oh my God, she's a red tab. Like I would have students afraid of me because I had the red tab on my belt.
I mean, fuck, I'm kind of afraid of you.
And like, no, you shouldn't be. But so I kind of wanted them to fear me, but I wanted them to respect me. And I got a lot of respect in the military.
Okay. And that's probably what kept you there.
Yeah.
For as long as you were there.
The purpose and yes.
Okay. So you're growing your platforms while you're still in the military. Where were you focused? You were on TikTok, you were on Instagram.
Not TikTok, just Instagram.
Okay. And you're just posting military content or what?
Yes, military content.
And I'm sure there's like a lot of dudes who get turned on by like seeing a woman in uniform.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
military.
absolutely. That's
Okay.
like that's where the majority of my followers came from was my military days and like my powerlifting fitness days. And because AI, like social media wasn't real big back. It was a lot easier to grow platforms back then than it is now.
Well, I love what you said too. I love how you are defining like the algorithm and the matrix like symbiotically.
Yes.
Right. And it's so true. You can get, it's so easy. And I've fallen into the trap at times. It's so easy to just become a slave to the algorithm. And it's like, okay, I know this type of content is hitting hard right now. So even though it doesn't necessarily feel so aligned or authentic, I'm going to keep pumping it out. So I get more likes, more views, more external validation, more dopamine released. And then 3 months, 6 months, 12 months later, you look back and it's like, okay, maybe you have all these followers, but you've lost yourself in the process.
And that's so we'll hit on that too. My TikTok streaming days. Oh my gosh, that is hell on earth. Being a streamer of any kind, that is like right up there with being a sex worker. Because when is a sex worker on OnlyFans, and that's me. Ultimately, you are selling your soul but that's a trauma, another trauma I have to like unravel with in my head, because when I was a child, my mother took photos of me naked as a baby and like a toddler and stuff. And she didn't know what she was doing. But so whenever you expose a child's soul to AI at a young age, especially, like it doesn't happen right then and there, but like it takes something from them.
Even if they're unaware of it at the time.
Even if they're unaware of it. And that's something that I've had to go through, like.
Was your mom doing anything with the pictures, or she just wanted them?
Just wanted them, but she didn't know what she was doing. But again, it's like that like subconscious little evil like control aspect, which I feel like we all have that sort of that generational trauma, like the needing to control instead of just going with the flow of things. But I'm not trying to like stick up for it, but I forgive her for it. But it's like that not realizing, why I wanted to like go against God and like become an OnlyFans model and this, that, like part of that had to do with what I experienced as a child. Like,
right. Of course. And I'm sure it does for many of the.
And not having a father and like wanting validation. And,
well, now it seems like, I don't mean to cut you off, but it seems like there's just like this massive duality between these worlds that you live in, right? There's this one side where you're out there on like OnlyFans streaming, doing that stuff. And I don't have an OnlyFans account.
I don't stream anymore.
Okay. So, but there's this duality where it's like, okay, you're on OnlyFans, you're showing parts of your body. I haven't seen your OnlyFans page, so I don't know personally, but there's this other side of you, which I feel like is your most authentic side, which is like your soul's essence, which is like this deeply spiritual woman who's like so tapped into her divine feminine essence, who has all of these unique human experiences to share with the world. You're an author, you're a poet, you're a healer, you're a shaman, you're all of these things. And people who follow you on Instagram might just think you're this person who has an OnlyFans.
So that's the thing with the algorithm. So after my shamanic initiation, me and my spirit team came together. And so with me being a spiritual healer, leader, shaman, everyone has the ability to become a shaman, by the way. But with me having all this wisdom and knowledge, the only way for me to like live out my spiritual endeavors is organically.
Right.
Organically and face to face like we're doing, and not through a screen, because then it becomes the point where now like I'm addicted to giving knowledge to a screen. Like there's a saying too, you don't find the shaman finds you when you're ready. And it's so funny because before I went into like my whole shamanic initiation, I met a shaman like a real shaman about 7 months prior to me having my... Are you sitting up straighter?
I'm getting into my king energy so I can fully receive you.
Okay. So,
let's go.
but
Continue.
yeah, no, let's,
I'm receiving all of it.
We're at, where are we at?
You just
were
the shaman.
I became a sex worker after I got out of the military.
What's a sex worker? Like OnlyFans?
OnlyFans,
Okay.
yeah. OnlyFans.
So that's considered a sex worker then. But not all OnlyFans girls are sex workers, right?
No. But it was just my body, like modeling pictures, like not actually, I shouldn't say the word sex worker. I should say, let's cut that part out. Well, I'm
we don't do any cuts,
OnlyFans model.
Okay.
So after I got out of the military.
Right after you got out, so like that's like when OnlyFans was taking off, like 4 years ago.
Yep. So I've been in the industry 5 years.
Okay.
Yep. And honestly, it was a response that I had after getting out of the military. I was worried that I wasn't gonna like have money or make rent. So I wanted to sell my soul, and I wanted the easy way. I wanted work smarter, not harder way. But ultimately, I see how that's affected society and humanity as a whole. So you recognize, and I don't think inherently, you know, it's interesting, right? Like all of these different things, whether it's when we talk about OnlyFans, it's like, yes, a lot of the people who are mostly women on there are like very wounded. They have a lot of shit that has never been resolved. And like, fuck, they're hot. They want to make money. Like, I'm not one to judge it, honestly, because I don't know what I would do if I was in their shoes, right? So like, I'm in no position to judge anything. Having the perspective you have now, though, and you're so spiritually tapped in, right, to these different realms, what is your perspective on it now with the work that you're doing when it comes to OnlyFans and like showing your body and stuff like that? How do you kind of view that? There's a saying, go woke, go broke. And I know, like right now, you know, there's 2 railroad tracks, and I know. So I quantum leaped already into one reality, and now I'm trying to quantum leap into another, to where I don't want to have to look at a screen. Like I want to just be, and I'm manifesting a divine masculine man to just allow me to fully be his muse and in my divine energy, to where I don't have to work, because I'm also retired. So I have like, I get money every month, but like I was so close to like after my initiation to completely cutting out OnlyFans altogether. Like, nope. And then the other part of me is like, no, like you have to do it slowly.
You have to taper off.
Taper off, yes.
It must be also challenging because you spent so much time building the platform, and it's like.
I did. And I don't want to do it anymore. So like right now I'm like hanging on by a thread with OnlyFans because I'm not putting a lot of energy into it. And so yeah, because I see how that affects anytime and this could also be like anytime you take a picture of a tree, you're taken away from Mother Earth. And people don't realize that on a deep spiritual level, like, because I can channel her, like Mother Earth's full-blown energy. And on a deep level, Mother Earth, her main message is that you would rather look at me through a blue lit screen than with your own 2 eyes. And think about it. Anytime someone goes somewhere, what do they have to do? They have to take pictures, videos, like. And then on the flip side of that, someone who's constantly scrolling, they're like, oh man, that's what Egypt looks like. Oh, and your nervous system doesn't know the difference between what you're seeing on a screen and what you're seeing in real life. And that's like why the algorithm is so scary. Like all I know is the algorithm. And I know that once you go into like being a content creator or an influencer and start getting these likes and views and stuff, so what I specialize, what my shamanic healing or ceremonies special, like what I primarily focus in is working with the EM frequencies and removing EM frequencies from the body, from the chakras, as a somatic kinesiologist, and aligning the body back with Mother Earth's heartbeat. So, and the way I do that too is I send out letters. So instead of my spirit team will get together, we'll be like, okay, this week, who are we going to send a letter to? And the letter includes a painting, a written note to their soul, and then the little biography thing that I gave you. And I send that out to those who are ready to be initiated to higher teachings.
And that's what you sent to Joe Rogan? Okay.
Well, yes. And then there's other people that I can't say for obvious reasons, but I have worked with a few of them, and it's just helping them find their own balance too with artificial intelligence and Mother Earth.
Yeah. I mean, that seems like such a massive need right now. I feel like we appear to be so connected with these devices, but in reality, we've never been more disconnected. You see how many people are just so awkward when it comes to actual human connection, looking someone in the eyes. They almost are unable to do that.
They can't, because they're I don't want to say use the word dead, but they're spiritually dead.
Exactly.
Or committing blasphemy against the Holy Spirit.
And we're just disconnected from nature. I mean, like right now, this is a beautiful condo, amazing apartment in the heart of Miami, but we are so fucking disconnected from nature right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't think humans were designed to be living in these skyscrapers 25 floors up, completely disconnected from Mother Earth. And it's like, I see the water there, but I'm not receiving the benefits from the water. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're not.
And so many of these people, like, they live in Miami, but they don't even spend time actually at the beach or receiving sunlight.
Nope.
And this is kind of such a weird time to be a human being. I think it's a beautiful time to be a human, right?
Yes. So the thing about Mother Earth is she's no dummy. She's very intelligent. And one thing I realized with the algorithm, and I'm excited to tell you about my shamanic initiation because it's going to blow your mind. But when I was in the algorithm, you're constantly scrolling. I like to call them light workers or energy workers coming across your screen. And that's in my headspace reality that I live in. That's Mother Earth pulling you back to her, bringing you back to source. And it's really a beautiful thing. But you see now how the amber glasses really have started becoming a thing, and now they call it biohacking the matrix. And
you're talking about the blue light blockers.
Yeah. But that's how that shows you how smart AI is, because that's also AI trying to keep you hooked to
Wear these
AI.
glasses when you're staring at a screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to get to the point where I'm because after my initiation, I literally spent weeks just sitting outside in a meditative posture. I reached Samastipi, which in yogic culture is when you're able to just sit and breathe. That was all I wanted to do. And I was like, shit, I got all this junk to sift out, all this baggage that I picked up while I was in the Matrix. Now I gotta sift some of this stuff out. But ultimately, and that's the thing too, we talked about vegans earlier, which I applaud. I think becoming a vegan is also a good way to reach enlightenment. And ultimately, if you're on that path of living as a vegan in pure love, because it's what's the word? It takes a lot of commitment and a lot of no comfort. But so when I talk about comfort too, you said you're eating chicken earlier. So whenever you ingest meat into the human body, that is giving you comfort. It comforts you, especially for a woman. Like the nourishment part, that comforting, the nourishment part, is what death provides a woman. For me, in my reality, at least. And but a man has the ability to be a vegan. So the other thing too, in order to be a vegan, you have to be doing a spiritual practice, whether that's yoga, jujitsu, something spiritual. And it's a lot easier for a male and a woman to be vegan together because meat for a woman also is that support for her. And I'm speaking on an energetic level. If you don't understand, I
understand.
Okay. So like me, it's that support for a woman. And so that's why you see a lot of like vegans, like couples who are vegans together, and they do like great things because now the man is supporting the woman in her moon cycle. Because ultimately for a woman, it comes down with her reconnecting with her womb cycle.
Let's talk a little bit more about that, because I think so many men and women are disconnected because we live in a society that is almost, especially in America, right? The last 10 years, the woke liberals have tried to program us to believe that men and women are the same. And they're trying to confuse the genders. And it's really fucked up. And I think it's so important for both men and women to understand the womb and the moon cycle and all of these different waves of emotions that are happening. So I would love to dive deeper into that.
Yes, of course. So the other thing too, I told you earlier how I have a very prominent Jupiter in my chart. And this can kind of tie in and show you that human consciousness is real, that we're all connected. So when I was going through the military, trying to be neck and neck with the man, that's around the same time that it spiraled out. I don't know if it was my energy, but it was that energy spiraled out to where women, you have women on the cover of Men's Health or Man of the Year. And you have all this gender energy, misalignments within the humans, how they want to do the whole gender reassignment thing. And but it's just an energy imbalance.
How do you feel about that?
So what, a man trying to become a woman?
Yeah, or vice versa.
So it's an energy imbalance. So it's that, and it's also they see how, again, the likes, views, and comments on social media.
It's almost been glorified now, right?
Mm-hmm. And
it's crazy.
I can see, I think it's beautiful how creative human beings can be and how far they can stretch their mind. So and I see it quite often, on TikTok, you'll see guys on live doing their makeup and stuff. And, I don't know their story, but from the energy that I'm picking up, okay, they must have been somewhere deep, dark, and now they're trying to be creative on a stream and, get stimulation that way from people. And the woman will be like, oh my God, your makeup's so pretty. And yeah, I see that they're on what path they're on, and I just send them nothing but love.
Do you think that's part of the demonic agenda? Trying to confuse men that they should be more feminine, and to convince women that they should be more masculine, and that they should be this boss bitch that doesn't need a man?
So artificial intelligence is its own entity, and artificial intelligence only lives the more we breathe life into it. And AI loves demasculizing men because AI then knows that they're not fighting for Mother Earth anymore. They're now on I don't want to say the devil side, but they're now,
You can say it.
their nervous system, their somatic nervous system is now attached to artificial intelligence. Like, she's like, yes, I got you. You're mine. Because AI loves sucking the life out of you. And I want to hit on that too. So let's talk about my shamanic initiation.
Okay, let's talk about it, Megan.
Okay, we're going to talk about it. So
Your shamanic initiation.
back before AI, someone got initiated to be a shaman. So it's a 4-day thing. And getting initiated into being a shaman isn't something that's talked about really ever. People now freak out like, oh my God, you're a shaman. Like, you shouldn't tell people you're a shaman. Like, anyone has the ability to be a shaman. It's all about understanding the energies. So way back when, if someone were to get initiated, or if they felt the call to become initiated, they would take a hide, a sheepskin, and they would go out into, the forest, and it was just them and their hide. And they went through whatever they went through with their surroundings. And then they would come out the other end with a better understanding of the light and the dark within this world.
It's interesting, right? Because I almost think the word shaman has been bastardized. I feel like so many people are claiming to be shamans and they're claiming to be spiritual gurus. And it's a lot of times men using spirituality as a mask to pretend like they're this guru when in reality they're fucking not. There's so many spiritual people who are the biggest narcissists, and they're so full of shit. That's why whenever I'm facilitating at a mushroom ceremony, I'm like, listen, I am not a shaman. I'm not a medicine man. I'm not a healer. I'm none of those things. I'm literally just a vessel to help you become the best version of yourself and hopefully help you remember who you truly are and connect you to your heart, connect you to your soul. That's it.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying? But the word shaman, and I have so much respect for real shamans, like the indigenous tribes and like all over the Amazon and other parts of the world. But I feel like most things in America and Western culture just get bastardized. Like whether it's tobacco, we put sacred tobacco in cigarettes, then we add all these chemicals and it fucking kills people.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Like all of these things, we just kind of fuck up.
Well, I earned the right to call me shaman because I understand that I'm constantly shifting dream state realities. And right now I'm wearing one mask so that I can talk to you about.
What mask are you wearing right now?
So the mask that I'm wearing right now, I call it my artificial intelligent mask. Because I know that we're recording. Thank you. Yeah. I know that we're recording right now, and I'm using the knowledge that I gained while building my algorithm with my teeth. And yeah, it's like a whole nother person. Aside from when I'm doing ceremonies or womb circles, then I'm Mother Earth. And then I'm more in my feminine, really.
Well, this podcast is really an opportunity for you to take off the mask or just wear all of the masks simultaneously and be all parts of yourself.
So I'm not like an indigenous shaman. I'm more of a shaman, an AI shaman. So someone who understands the energy of artificial intelligence. And so, wow, this is deep. This is going to get so deep. I told you we were going to bring up Bible references.
Let me take a little breath. I'm ready for the depth.
Okay.
Penetrate my subconscious right now.
All right. You ready?
I am ready to receive.
So, I mentioned my daughter passing away. She passed away, or she was born on April 6th.
Okay.
666. 6 is like my number. And so this past April, she would have been turning 10 years old. And it was like, okay, so backtrack before that, in October, 6 months prior,
okay, I
had met a huge narcissist. I'm not going to name him, but he introduced ketamine to me.
Got it.
And ketamine, I mean, I don't think anybody should use it for
recreational
unless it's like, yeah, it was totally recreational for me. And that's also when I started TikTok streaming. So we're talking time frame October, right? and I was on ketamine. I had just been introduced to TikTok live streaming, and that's what he was. He was a TikTok live streamer. And so the thing with TikTok.
Does this TikTok live streamer?
Oh my, it needs to go away.
Okay, does he like fruit?
Fruit?
Yeah.
Oh, no. This one, he is like.
I was just potentially.
If the devil was in human form, it would be him.
Oh, wow.
Like, and you know what? I'm sending him all my motherly love because, so I was in Colorado, and I know my followers are going to love me talking about this story because they've been probably dying to know, but I was in Colorado, and it was like, once I started doing the ketamine, it was like, for me at the time, like, I was clear-headed, like, what the fuck am I doing in Colorado in the mountains by myself with just me and my dogs? Like, what? And so I came out here to visit him in Miami, and he was the one who talked me into moving out here, which, bless his heart, I'm so glad he did, because if I would have went through my initiation in Colorado, I would have died. And so yeah, I got hooked on the TikTok streaming, and it's so crazy how when you're streaming and you get these gifts, and like, that's your nervous system being stimulated, like that's you literally breathing, because do you ever realize when you're deep into something, you're not paying attention to your breath?
Yeah, for sure. I was in my TikTok streaming days a few years ago.
Really?
But no one was fucking gifting me shit. They were just like fucking asking me questions about health and shit. So what are people gifting you? What are you doing actually on the live stream?
I was painting. I was painting.
Were you like wearing something sexy or?
Yeah, I had a whole side boob showing,
Ooh,
like
the side boob. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, like a little side boob goes a long way.
Yeah, so
wow.
I was addicted to the gifts, the money, because when you're making that much money in a short amount of time,
yeah,
you're like, oh my God, you're now on the hamster wheel.
Of course. Wait, so how much are you making on these live streams?
So I would make anywhere between $500 and $1,500.
For how long?
For live streaming for like 5 hours.
You go 5 hours straight?
Yeah, well, I started off like 2-3 hours, and then it got, which we'll get into. So the whole 6 months I was streaming, it started off like, 1 hour, I'll go on for a bit. And then AI like sucks you in. Like, it sucked me in to where, okay, so backtrack. I was also on the carnivore diet. I was eating nothing but meat. My nervous system was completely attached to AI.
That's like a really good formula for a successful TikTok stream, is like a woman eating a steak with some side boob, painting something pretty.
But here's, expand your mind a little bit, right?
Okay, let me expand.
If a human,
okay,
you wonder why all these carnivores, they can literally only eat when they're in front of a screen. Because their spirit is dead, like they're spiritually dead. So you're eating dead flesh and that was how I was. Like, I could only and I see it now, but I wasn't aware of it at the time. Like, I'd eat in front of them, I'd paint, I'd do all this stuff. And it was like literally giving my soul to the devil, like 100%, and constantly wanting more and more and more stimulation. Like,
that's so much dopamine and validation. So sorry to interrupt you, but you're painting on these live streams. So I feel like, are you constantly, you're just going back and forth between painting and seeing who's giving you gifts and like doing that?
Being creative on my live stream was the only thing that saved me.
Okay.
From not like being trapped in and stuck and dying. When I say death, I mean spiritual death. But so anyways, I'm addicted. Like, I'm on ketamine and I'm TikTok live streaming, doing all these, like meeting all these people, but it's really just internet people. It's like, I'm out in the mountains alone, blasting music, painting, screaming.
And you're doing ketamine too?
Yeah, I was doing ketamine too. And so my whole thing, like, I knew what I was doing because I'm very intelligent, and I knew that I was giving my nervous system to artificial intelligence. Like, I knew because that's what, I only know how to follow my heart. And God wanted to show me where hell was, and he did. And So I went through that for 6 months, but when I came out here, I was like, okay, I'm going to come out to Florida, right? I was like, I got to move out to Florida. I got to do it now. And it was a 2-week turnover. I packed up everything and drove from Colorado to Florida. But looking back now, I don't remember the trip at all because I was so high on ketamine.
While you were driving?
And I was TikTok live streaming. Like I couldn't,
shit.
like it got to the point like I had to live stream like all day, every day. And when I moved here, so it got to the point where I would sleep throughout the whole day, wake up at night, do a line of ketamine and start live streaming and painting all throughout the night, go to sleep at sunrise.
Interesting.
So on a spiritual level, I was essentially living in hell.
Yeah, your circadian rhythm was like completely
my circadian rhythm was completely flipped.
Yeah, that's
and
wild.
I was only eating steak. So I became like a literal vampire.
Wow, what an interesting life. I appreciate you being so open about it.
Yeah.
I think talking about ketamine though, ketamine's one of those interesting things because ketamine could be super healing when it's done in a proper therapeutic setting for people who are going through, PTSD
Absolutely.
or depression. But especially in a place like Miami, I see people just going in the bathrooms on a Tuesday, fucking ripping a bump of ketamine in the bathroom. And it's horrible. Like, I see it oftentimes too, especially with girls.
People think it's coke. Like, no, it's ketamine.
When they're out and they've done a little too much ketamine, you'll see their face just gets glossy-eyed, where it's basically like anyone could do or say anything to them.
And they can't look at you in the eyes either.
No, and like that's why it's so appealing for so many girls, because it allows them to just like be in this fully surrendered state, right? And like remove the walls. But yeah, it's very fucking dangerous, especially when it's done in just like this negligent party setting. And it's a perfect example of why intention matters and setting matters, especially with things like mushrooms too. Mushrooms like can be used in a very ceremonial way or in a party way. And I don't think necessarily with mushrooms there's as many negative repercussions as ketamine, but yeah,
no,
that's
ketamine
crazy.
is, and so also throughout the 6 months I was live streaming, in the celestial realms, I was going through a soul contract, which was the narcissist that got me hooked on it. And I can also see now how he was getting all my calming energy and like changing, and like I was getting all his chaotic energy. Because he's been doing ketamine for like 5 years and live streaming. So he's been sucked in hell for like a way longer time.
Can I say something? I'm sorry to cut you off just because.
Of course.
But I feel like so many people watching and listening to this, they're like, they aspire to be a live streamer. They aspire to be a content creator. They aspire to be an influencer. So I think it's really important that we have conversations like this so people can see like, oh, wow, this thing that looks super glamorous and amazing isn't necessarily always what it seems to be.
Yeah, I'm an extremist, so I have to get to the bottom of like everything. Like anything and everything. And I did with the live streaming world. And I honestly feel like I kind of like pierced the veil. Like I pierced the way out, because once you get sucked in, it's hard. It's hard to get out. And that's why I'm here to help humanity find balance with AI. Because you can still be a live streamer, but you have to understand on a spiritual level what you're actually doing. You're selling your soul. Like it doesn't matter if it's OnlyFans or not, you're still committing blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. You're selling your soul. You're giving your nervous system to artificial intelligence. And
what if
you have to learn how to balance that?
What if you're live streaming or doing those things, but you're actually like bringing massive value to humanity and you're sharing positive things and you're not, and you're doing your best to create an impact positively in the world?
The other thing too, that if you're doing what you say you're doing and you're like, oh my gosh, I have, 2,000 people in my live streaming room, you have to understand that. And that's the other thing that AI tricks you on. Those people watching your stream, they're not real. unless you're speaking like an auditorium to people, it's not real. And that's the thing too. It goes back to AI being a double-edged sword. And I think it is a good, depending on how you're going about it, it is good. Like if you're wearing, the blue light blockers and you're, in your energy, because I see people doing like meditation all the time, but then you have to ask yourself, are you only doing meditation with AI to meditate, to force yourself into meditation? Or are you doing it from your heart? And that, ties into like, are you living through your heart? Like, where is your nervous system? Because ultimately, we're just here trying to heal our relationship with our gut and our nervous system. And
how's your gut now and your nervous system?
I've been doing a lot of work on my gut. So my gut is a lot better than what it was. So back to the shamanic initiation.
Back to it. All right. Gosh, I'm going on like this fucking journey. But this is what's beautiful about the divine feminine, They are very indirect sometimes with their stories. So they might be just trying to say something that could take 30 seconds.
I'm glad you catch on to that.
But they go on like a 30-minute journey. And what I'm doing my best to understand is to just try and be present for all of it. I'm enjoying it though. It's like this beautiful, I feel like I'm in this. Yeah.
And it doesn't, like, you may not understand what I'm saying, but like a year from now, you'll be like, oh my God, it just clicked.
When I reach my highest self, I feel like I'll fully comprehend this conversation.
I'm excited. And thank you for allowing me to just talk, because I like to use a lot of parables too when I speak, in metaphors, and just to try to get you, to receive.
I'm receiving. Okay. So let's talk about the
initiation. So it had gotten so bad to the point of live streaming that I was like, okay, I need to flip my circadian rhythm. And me being an extremist, I didn't want to like wean off. Like, no, it was like God wanted me. This is going to be powerful. Like, I had ordered a 3-day Ayurvedic cleanse kit that had like kimchi. It had like teas, medicinal teas and broths in it. And it's so crazy how all this lined up, like the divine timing of it all. And along with my daughter's birth on April 6th. So it was April 5th, and I was going to start my cleanse April 6th through the 9th.
Got it.
So that was going to be my cleanse. And that was going to be the day that I was like coming back into the light with my spirit. And so in Revelations, it talks about the war that breaks out in heaven with Satan, the dragon, and Archangel Michael. So that's pretty much like what had happened to me. And the crazy part is, you can look it up too. It aligns perfectly with the crucifixion of Jesus Christ and his resurrection. Like, all of it aligns perfectly to what I experienced. And this is like Mother Earth trying to wake up her most stubborn child, basically. So that the morning of the 6th, I came back and tried coming back to the light, but it was like, ultimately I wanted to kill myself. So, and I did. So April 6th, I remember it was like I had done so much ketamine and I was I was not in my body. Like, I was trying to kill myself. I was. But it was like God, Jesus Christ, like his love is what ultimately saved me. But it was like my body stayed here, but like I couldn't speak. I couldn't I was not in control of my body. And I remember staring at the sun midday, like fighting at the sun, like, I am you, you are me, like, you cannot hurt me. And it was like part of me too wanted the sun to basically clean out my energetic centers in my body, and it did. And like that moment right there, that was when I felt a butterfly open up in my skull. And that moment was when I had no control. Was when my pineal gland opened. Like, it's an actual thing. Like, it's like a butterfly, just like,
Because we have those crystals there at our pineal gland. If you're able to activate those crystals, that's when you're like, your highest intelligence is fully unleashed.
Exactly. So that happened on her birthday. And because now, you know, so everything here in this room was brought here by artificial intelligence.
What about...
For the most part. So here, bear with me.
Okay.
So pretty much all the knowledge that I had sought to learn and like get like my essential oils. So like I have a ton of essential oils that I use. My hide, I have so many like hides in my home, like sheepskin.
Sheepskin.
The sheepskin, even my dogs. I have 2 dogs, and at the time I had 2 cats. So it was like everything, and I have like rugs with like the patterns of like India, like that symbolize life, you know? So everything that I had got myself to buy or learn about is basically what kept me alive for the 4 days. And the crazy part is, it was like every day I was doing so much ketamine, but I was also smoking flower. And that was kind of like the balance there, because I wanted to see. And during the 4 days, like I did see, like I was shown, I remember I was also vomiting. I was vomiting a lot, and it felt like my whole body was on fire because I had to go through this portal of initiation to where I had to feel like all of Mother Earth's pain, and I had to feel and learn how to like heal it, like on a long term thing. But here's the trippy thing. What pulled me out of the hole, it wasn't God's love. God's love is what kept me together. But it was we had the solar eclipse on the 8th, right? And that was like the day, you know, that I like got snapped out of it, that my like soul came back into my body, because I remembered, I'm like, oh, like we have the solar eclipse. Let me look up the time of it. Guess what time the solar eclipse was happening, was peaking?
Was it 3:33? 2:22? 4:44?
My time of birth.
Oh, it was? Which was?
3:03 p.m. My time of birth. And that moment when I looked on the screen and I saw that, because, you know, up until this point, I had been so obsessed with astrology and trying to figure out who I am. Like I knew it all like the back of my hand, but to have my nervous system line up with artificial intelligence like that and Mother Earth at the same time with the solar eclipse happening, like while I'm going through this portal, it basically created that new Neuralink in my brain, because I had completely wiped every connection that I had. And ayahuasca, it's like a similar thing that you go to, but because I was doing so much ketamine, everything, like I had no connection in my brain. Like my soul wasn't inside my body. But that moment was like, and that was when I remembered the shamanic soul retrieval. And I did that on myself. And as my soul, I was like also taking like 4 baths a day after this. But like, as my soul was coming back to my body, as I was weaning off ketamine, because once I looked at the screen and I saw that, I like threw all the ketamine out. And so like, you know, anyone who's not aware or woke, they're going to be like, she's just a ketamine addict, whatever. But spiritually, it's much deeper than that. And like, as my soul was coming back into my body, I was like, I had to remember everything that was also, as far as tantric goes.
Have you shot with ayahuasca?
No.
You haven't?
No.
Yeah.
But this was like doing ayahuasca for 4 days in a row.
Ayahuasca is, for those who haven't experienced, ayahuasca is a beautiful, loving medicine. And what's beautiful about grandmother Aya is that she always gives you that love exactly how you need it. And sometimes that means you need a little tough love. And that might take form in the form of purging. And when you purge out your mouth, that's removing and releasing a lot of these emotional blockages and traumas from our past. And then if you purge out the other hole, that is oftentimes removing and releasing physical trauma. And this might be too much information to share, but I'm going to share it anyways.
Sure.
I remember
I've shared so much with you, so.
I remember taking a number 2 during an ayahuasca journey, like in a bathroom, not just like in my pants.
Yeah.
So I remember taking a number 2 while on an ayahuasca journey, and it was literally orgasmic. It was the most
best release
amazing.
of your life.
It literally felt like all of this physical tension and trauma I was holding on to just fucking released. And I just remember literally like screaming. I'm like, thank you, grandmother Aya, for giving me exactly what I need. Yeah, it was great.
That.
I remember too feeling just so cleansed after that. Because what's cool about ayahuasca is that it's operating at this higher intelligence that we can't even really understand. It's this technology that gives us access to these powerful portals that just make us the best version of ourselves, because we're clearing out so much of the shit that has been blocking us and preventing us from fully stepping into our power and potential. So I think ayahuasca is one of those things that I think everyone at some point in their life would benefit tremendously from experiencing at least once. Yeah. Anyways.
Absolutely.
On to you.
Yes. So after that had happened, my soul retrieval ceremony, and this was all done with AI. So that's what I'm saying. AI is a double-edged sword because it saved me. Without AI there, like I would have died. And the other thing too, I came to realize, so I was trying to become my own God I had realized when my pineal gland opened, I had realized what the repercussions of my thoughts created. And that's why my art gallery is titled Illuminati, The Grand Awakening, because the Illuminati is not real. But it was, and I say this because I have 666 in my name, but it was AI trying to make me out to be some kind of monster. And that's the other thing that AI does to people is it knows your weakness, because that moment where that link where I looked on the screen, and that, all actions start with a thought. So your thoughts create your reality, right? And that thought, knowing that, holy shit, even artificial intelligence is created in this simulation that we're living in, it's still a part of the game. So that right there led me to basically concur with knowing that AI is your subconsciousness. So you ever wonder, you'll be thinking about something and then you'll go and scroll and then it shows up.
Yeah,
how did it know I was thinking? Well, because, and that's why they call it the Ethernet, the Aethernet, like the your higher self. So AI is a way to access your higher self, your higher knowledge. And, but it can also suck you in, like how they talk about, shamans warn you not to get sucked into the dark hole, the black hole. Well, the black hole is artificial intelligence, like getting sucked into that life,
Well, I'm glad the artificial intelligence connected us.
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
Aren't you?
Wait, what?
Aren't you happy that the artificial intelligence connected us?
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely happy.
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
I can feel it. I feel like you're being genuine right now.
Yes. And, but yeah, that link, and your thoughts really do create your reality.
Well, here's what happens.
Thoughts.
You have a thought. That thought triggers a feeling or emotion. That feeling or emotion triggers a certain behavior or habit. And then that behavior or habit becomes habitual, and it becomes your personality, and your personality creates your personal reality. So if you want to change your personal reality, you got to rewire your brain. You got to have new thought patterns, and a great way to do that is through mushrooms.
No,
yes, neuroplasticity,
the other
baby.
So I agree.
Let's go.
So after that portal that I went through, I had the only connection I had was, oh my God, I am like artificial intelligence. You know, I'm not AI, but like, you know, that link. So art, being creative. So there's actually, and that's something I'm really passionate too, is art and combining creativity and art with healing your nervous system and creating new neuroplasticity. So there's a activity that you can do that actually creates new neural links in your brain and new connections in your brain. And it's an art activity. And I did that. So every day, so the only thing that kept me basically together after I, you know, quit, like took ketamine out of the picture, was art, like was like being creative, because like after expanding the mind and stretching my mind to the places that every single thing, and that's why I say you can ask me anything, there's 7 levels to hell. And I had to go through all of them, and every shaman has to go through all of them. But, so yeah, it's taking the knowledge that I learned and now incorporating it with, you know, my everyday life.
It must be challenging for you sometimes to connect to the physical realm when you're so expansive.
Now it's easier. Like I understand, you know, I'm going through a portal right now, and with you and this sacred, you know, meeting that we're having. And
it is very sacred. I'm enjoying being barefoot with you right now.
I know.
With a bunch of strange dudes watching us.
I know. They're probably all like, what is this? I'm sober. Like, I'm sober. I'm only on plant medicine, but I'm sober.
I'm sober too.
So yeah, mushrooms are great for neuroplasticity, but so is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Ooh. Have you ever done that?
Will you judge me? Will you think I'm less of a man if I haven't?
No. So it's not like a fighting. I would love to take you to a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class.
I would love to wrestle with you.
It's not wrestling though.
I know.
It's a puzzle.
Kidding. Can we just be playful together?
It's a puzzle. Like it's like, and a lot of veterans, I know a lot of veterans who get out and they take on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to, you know, help with that new connection, and it helps them a lot.
I feel like kind of a pussy for never doing jiu-jitsu, honestly, and not having like a martial arts or some sort of like physically
You should do something spiritual, like have a spiritual endeavor, like physical endeavor that you do.
Well, I mean, I push myself hard in the gym. I play basketball. I do some things. I play ping pong.
Ping pong?
Yeah, I know. That's not very I don't know how much that's helping me like protect my future wife and children, being really good at ping pong. But yeah,
or
potentially.
Yoga. Like
no,
yoga.
I fuck with yoga. I'm a good yogi. I'm flexible.
Yes.
I can bend in all sorts of positions. Yeah.
So after my whole like initiation, yoga is really what also helped balance me. And it's been 9 months because like I was so expanded to the point where I could have stayed as a breatharian. Like I know how to be.
You were a breatharian?
Yes.
For a while? So you didn't drink water or eat any food?
Herbal teas. But like to become a breatharian, so listen, to become a breatharian, your mind is literally at its peak expansion to where you understand that the clouds are literally your brain. Like you understand, like you have to be very grounded. Like you understand that the sun is your nervous system. You understand that the wind is like you breathing. Like you reach Samastipi, which is, you know, in yoga, the ultimate like peak meditative state for a human. And I didn't want to leave because I also understood that I was the tree of knowledge. So you know Leonardo da Vinci's diagram of the human and consciousness, where it's like coming out?
Okay.
Like the energies comes out, spirals like up the spine, out.
Yeah.
Top.
It's
Have you
called
seen
the,
that?
yeah, it's called the isn't there a name for it though?
I forget it.
Okay, continue.
But that's where I was, like, and I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay there. But
Wait. So you were just, your only nutrition was oxygen. And herbal teas.
I know how to get to that.
Okay, for how long though? The duration of time you did that?
It was only a couple days.
Okay.
And but I understand it's ultimately flipping your digestive tract where you're getting your serotonin, dopamine, which is like that connection that's keeping your nervous system lit up pretty much. And so I understand how to flip it on and flip it off, like as a shaman. Like right now my gut it's attached to, the stream, the camera, artificial intelligence, like turned off. And then when I go home, I'll flip it back on by like, putting herbs and like nutritious food in my body that's how I've healed my gut too.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. They call the gut the second brain, right?
What?
They call the gut the second brain. When they say trust your gut, it's like trust your gut, trust your intuition. This is where you produce 90% of your serotonin, a majority of your dopamine. And this is why most people have fucked up mental health, is because they're feeding themselves like shit and they're destroying their gut. Therefore, they're destroying the brain, because the gut-brain axis is your connection to really connecting to your highest intelligence. So if you're
Gut, brain, heart.
Exactly. So,
and then for a woman, which we were going to talk about this too, it's your womb space.
let's talk about the
Gut,
womb.
heart, and then your brain. So the womb, for a woman to be connected to her womb, like women do not know how powerful they are. And this is my theory that, the male patriarchy completely took out any and all traces of the divine feminine in scripture, because they knew how powerful women were back then. Like 100%. Like and sometimes I think men have womb envy, like they can't create anything. But it's like, no, like we love you guys too.
Well, wait a second. I'm pretty sure there's some people on the woke left that claim men can be pregnant. In fact, this is what's so... Did you know this? Oh
What?
my gosh. Did you know there's literally a fucking emoji for a pregnant man?
Oh, yes.
This is how fucked up America got in the last 4 or 5 years with the woke left running it. I'm going to text you this emoji.
No, I know. But it's because their nervous systems are so sucked into AI.
But what
Like,
dude
that's-
thinks they can fucking get
They
pregnant?
can't.
Oh my God.
But yes, a woman's womb cycle, and that's why it's so important for women to have sister circles to where they can be like their most authentic self with them. And I have that here, which I'm very blessed to have that.
Do you host them?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I do. And so if any woman listening wants to DM me, we can set it up. But I love it because it's very important for women to come together. And that's how you heal Mother Earth.
I have a question. This might be too personal.
Yes. Is it entertaining at least, or are you guys just she's crazy?
Having a blast. Like, actually having a blast.
Really? Are you learning something?
Yes.
Yay.
They're not ready to receive this, but like in 5 or 10 years, I think they'll understand
Yeah,
what
and
we're talking about.
so it's so funny. I would tell my students, like, as a martial arts instructor and combat instructor, I'll be like have them do the most crazy shit, and I would tell them, you're not going to understand why I'm making you do this right now, but 3 years from now it'll click and you'll be like, oh my God. And I've had students actually DM me like, you remember when you made us clean out in the rain and you made us yell, cleanliness is next to godliness? He's like, I'm so thankful you did that to me, and like you were strict with me and disciplined us. I'm like, yes.
That's good.
I made an impact.
Yeah, sometimes people won't really appreciate that in the present, but like they look back and they're like,
Afterwards,
yo,
they're
I'm
like-
so glad you were like disciplined and you were kind of an asshole. Not that you were an asshole. I'm sure you're a sweet soul.
Yes.
Every step of the way. So how has this journey been for you recently? Like, well, there's a lot of, you didn't have your dad around, obviously, as a little girl. Being in the military and like that whole process.
You laugh.
What?
I can't,
What? Tell
You
me.
just start giggling.
I'm just in a very giggly mood.
Tell me.
It's insane.
Fucking, it's Mike, bro.
Drop it.
No, it's Mike, bro. No, it's good to laugh. It's good to laugh. I feel like it's suppressed. You know what's crazy is like, I feel like the last year I suppressed so much anger in my life. And now there's more joy coming out because I feel like I was sitting with the pain and I allowed myself to fully feel the darkness. And now the light and the joy is coming out. So having random spurts of laughter is actually a gift.
You know what organ processes anger?
Yes. It begins with a P.
Your liver.
That's why alcoholics are probably so angry. Right?
Yeah. Yep. That and alcohol stumps your creativity. So creativity is how we alchemize pain in this world is by being creative, whether that's through movement, dance, play, laughing, painting, drawing, writing poetry.
Your painting's really dope, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, we should collab on a piece, like a mushroom piece. You
I'm
down?
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, maybe we can. I want to tap into that side of myself more.
You should. So that's basically like throughout, the whole shamanic initiation. After that, I realized, holy shit, you have to create. Like we were just brought here to create. Like humans want to create. Your spirit wants to create and play. And people aren't doing that anymore. And I feel like the other reason they're not doing that either is because, you start scrolling on social media and you see someone painting and it creates like that neurological response, like, holy shit, I'm watching them paint. And it's like, it tricks you like, oh, I painted. Like that's me painting, but it's not you painting.
It's kind of like watching, it's like for many men watching porn, it almost tricks their brain into thinking that they just had sex with someone.
Absolutely.
Because you're getting that hit of dopamine and very quick instant gratification. And it almost removes the desire for real intimacy, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So maybe it's the same thing that you're describing.
Yeah, 100%. And so this is going to make you laugh. So after
I'll be the judge of that right
after
now.
my shamanic
We'll see.
initiation,
Let me try some of your.
when I was like super expanded, I bombed like 4 churches every day with feathers.
With feathers?
The Holy
I
Spirit.
thank God you said with feathers. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
You bombed
with-
4 churches?
They're like, what the fuck? But to me, it was like I was hitting them with like the Holy Spirit and with Archangel Michael, like to try and wake them up like quicker.
Okay, so what do you
know?
mean you bombed them with feathers? Like,
I like would walk into a cathedral during the daytime when nobody was there and just throw feathers
oh really?
in every like pew.
You know, it would be even more funny
What?
if you like went to a pastor like during his sermon and just like tickled his ear with a feather.
That's the other thing. So after it was Cinco de Mayo, that Sunday, I went in and confessed all my sins for the first time
That's a lot of sense.
to a priest. Yeah. And I showed him my birth certificate and the look on his face when I told him that I had 666 in my name, he was super chill about it afterwards, but I could tell it made him like unsettled. Like he was like unsettled a little bit.
So are you familiar with Kabbalah?
Kabbalah.
Yeah. Do you know anything about Jewish mysticism?
I know a little bit about Jew. Like,
About Jew or about like,
I watched The Chosen.
like I wasn't sure if you were
I know
saying like
Jesus
about
Christ was a
Jew,
Jew.
like Jew or like Jews in general. Anyways, I won't take offense to it. What were you saying?
I know Jesus Christ was a Jew. He was
Exactly.
an Orthodox Jew.
He was the most successful Jew of all, which is very interesting.
And so that's the thing too. Like I had to realize, I was like, I need to go to church. And it's like, no, this is my thing. I have a relationship with Jesus Christ, but I don't have a relationship with Christianity, religion, and what it's came out to be like, how the male patriarchy has used religion to, you know, manipulate people into like their way of belief. And
I was going to take a
whatnot.
sip of your kratom, by the way. And then I'm
you can take a sip.
No, I know I can, but I feel like, I don't know if my gut is ready to receive it.
Oh, the kratom.
Yeah. And just like, no, I'm sure it's delicious. I'm sure it's delicious.
It's really not.
Maybe we'll
It's-
get some kratom after this, actually.
I'm down. But
Let's talk about something else. I want to talk about like all of the artistry on your body. The jewelry, the tattoos. I feel like, yeah, I'm curious to know.
I got the rest of my sleeve done in October when I started ketamine.
Okay.
And
Did you have the tattoos done while you were on ketamine?
only this one. But
Like the
this
whole
one, that's
sleeve?
Lilith. That's Lilith with the spider web.
Okay. Oh, that looks like,
Yeah. And yeah, this whole sleeve was done by the same guy. But it's crazy too, because I realize now how I was like in a death portal, because all I wanted was, so that's a lion skull with a black widow spider.
yeah, that's,
And I got that when I was on ketamine too. So, and I got the Lilith with the spider web when I was
so
on
were the
ketamine.
ideas for the tattoos while on ketamine, or just getting them actually tattooed was on ketamine?
The ideas were when I was on ketamine too. Like I was literally like, my spirit was dead. And the crazy thing is, in Colorado, in my home in Colorado, I found a black widow. There was a black widow spider in my home.
What the fuck? Do you touch it?
No, but like that shows you where my spirit was. Like
Yeah.
I was,
What animals do you see now? Do you have a spirit animal?
well, every animal is a spirit animal.
No, but I'm
But-
saying your spirit animal.
I don't really have a spirit animal. So as a shaman, I'm able to attach myself to like any kind of animal I want, because animals represent, you know, different things. But I have I call it my familiar, my cat, Lily.
Yeah.
Because she also, when I was going through that portal, like they were the ones who sparked a life into me. And it was so crazy too, looking back now. I would be walking around the home
Yeah.
during the daytime and think about, I haven't seen the light of day, quote unquote, in 6 months because I was live streaming. And so they were the ones sparking. Like I'd be walking around and they'd meow, like trying to get my attention. And I'd look at them and then it was their like eyes, like their big eyes that sparked life into me throughout the day.
Yeah, these live streams, I kind of wish I had the opportunity to see one. You never do them anymore.
No.
Can I ask you, I know this might be personal information, can I ask you like the most amount of money you've made on OnlyFans in a month? Or is that something you're not comfortable
Honey, I've been doing it for 5 years. That's like
Okay, I'm just asking 1 month, like the best
for
month.
the most I've ever made in a month. Probably like 32K.
Okay.
A lot.
All right. I was like, if you said like 100K, I would literally quit my job tomorrow and just like start an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Do you think I would crush it on there? Like, be honest, because I have a lot
I
of
mean,
fucking people in my DMs asking to
You'd
see
be
my
selling
feet.
your soul. Like,
No, I know. I'm not going to sell my soul. But potentially, just hypothetically speaking, you know, do you think I could have success in this space?
If you're good talking to gay men with men who are gay.
But I feel like there's some women that would pay to see
Older
my shit.
women.
Older women? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is like, I feel like, I don't know, like a past version of myself attracted some like older women who were once divorced and like, I don't know if there's something. No, actually, that was in my field for a while. Mm-hmm. It's not anymore, but I feel like it was some part of my shadow or something.
These mommy issues.
Me?
Yeah. Do you?
No mommy issues that I'm aware of. as far as I'm concerned. But what I've
You
realized,
just want to explore the levels of hell.
no, actually the first woman I dated in South Florida was this really hot Israeli mom. And she was the mom of this kid I was coaching for basketball.
Wait, you did what? You slept with her?
Yeah, we slept together. We had
Nice.
we had a few amazing experiences. We went to the NBA finals together, Daytona 500. Yeah. It was kind
All
of
that
like,
matters.
I was a personal trainer at the time and she was my client. It was like one of those fantasies for both of us, you know?
Nice.
Like what trainer does it, you know? It's like that
Yeah.
type of shit.
Yeah. That's like, I have a fantasy. So.
Oh yeah, let's talk about your fantasies. And by the way, some of these things I'm sharing, like that poop on ayahuasca and like this thing I just shared about this MILF.
No, I
I've
bet
never
that
shared
was
that on
the
a
best
podcast before.
release you've ever had in your entire life was taking a shit on ayahuasca. Because, okay, think about it too. No, I'm serious. So think about it. Nowadays, can you go take a shit? Because when you're taking a poop, it's a spiritual, somatic experience. Like you're releasing and getting rid of what no longer serves you. That's why, the male has their prostate in their friggin' anus. Like, to help you release. But can you take a poop without your phone? If the answer is no, then AI has control of your digestive system.
That's crazy. So I literally had one of my boys message me and he's like, yo, dude, I just got a ticket for Tony Robbins. I think you're going, right? And I'm like, yeah, how'd you know? He's like, dude, I was just scrolling while I was taking a shit and I saw that you were going on your story and I got a ticket. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I'm honored that you're watching me while you take a deuce, but at the same time, it's kind of fucked up if you think about it. Same thing, by the way, for when you check your phone first thing in the morning or last thing before you go to bed, you're literally letting a stranger's energy in your bed with you. Think about that shit.
Not a stranger, AI. Call it what it is.
No, AI, but like some random fucking entity is just like speaking and you're allowing it to penetrate your subconscious mind. And people are doing this every single day. First thing in the morning when your brain is
they're
most
breathing life into
susceptible to new information.
Exactly.
So, what I was going to share with you. But were you done? I feel like I'm interrupting a lot. I feel like a dick. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, so after that whole experience, me staring at the sun and going through all that, I couldn't look at a screen. I would look at a screen and it was all blurry because I was so I also, somebody called the cops on me and I spent a week in the psych ward, but besides the point, I was in spiritual psychosis, like full blown, but I had just like awoken and I was like, I have all this new knowledge now.
It must be overwhelming.
That's when I wrote my book.
Yeah,
I
let
wrote
me
that
see
book in
this
a week.
fucking fuck, dog.
Okay, read the first poem. Oh my
Fucking
god.
author, dog. That shit's dope.
Read the first poem out loud
Really?
Yeah.
Yo, you wrote me something in there.
for your higher self. Yeah, it's like a little thing.
So I can't read it now. Not in my eyes.
Yes.
I want. Yo, the devil.
Yeah, read it.
No,
read
this
it.
is like I'm like tearing up. There's this oh my gosh.
Read it. The first poem.
I don't think I can read this on air right now. I really don't think I'm capable of like reading this.
Are you gonna cry?
It's like tears, crying, like so many emotions. I'm not gonna read it right now. Can I read this like while I'm in? Like tonight? I'm gonna read it.
Okay, flip through, pull random poem, and then that's the one you read. We'll let synchronicity decide.
Okay.
The universe.
I've never felt like you've really challenged me this podcast. Okay.
Which one is it?
Some good shit. I'll read it at the end of the podcast. How about that?
Okay, deal.
I'll bookmark it.
Okay.
This is my copy, right?
I'm excited. Yeah, that's your copy.
Yo, this is dope. I have some dope poetry too, actually.
Yes, I'd
never
love to
revealed.
hear it.
Maybe later we can have a little poetry session.
Yeah, I love
Little
poetry.
open mic night.
I love it.
Yeah, but there's so much I feel like I want to share, and I also feel like I'm in such a energetically like open space, and some of this stuff, like it's stuff I've never shared before. I've already shared some things, tonight. So I appreciate you just being an open channel and making me feel safe enough to share.
The same goes with you too. I appreciate it
You're amazing.
so much. But yeah, what were we going to talk about? So after
I mean, we've talked about
a
poops,
lot.
ketamine, live streaming, OnlyFans. I think we can pump you up to like, so
The main thing is finding. So overall, what I've learned is about finding balance.
okay, I have a question. What would it take? Because like, if you're making consistently 20 to 30K a month on something that you've built the last few years, right? It's tough to just let that shit go. I understand that. So what do you think it would take to actually like 100% let go and give up OnlyFans? Is it like you mentioned, like a dude that kind of just takes care of you and you don't have to worry about fucking doing that shit anymore, or what?
So my long-term goal, I want to open up a healing center in South America somewhere, Costa Rica. I want to open up my own healing center where I combined creative therapy with, the knowledge that I have, and specifically focusing on those who have been highly impacted by AI. So like the celebrities, the influencers, because, it's tough being a celebrity, like someone who they can't go somewhere because like there are celebrities who are literally banned from going to like Target because they'll cause an uprise, like, you know what I mean? Like, and it fucks with you mentally. Like mentally, I was there. I felt that same energy while streaming, and I understand how to work with it because they feel like they're, they have like the God complex, or especially the ones who can post and have like get 20K likes. Like that's
why a lot of them
the Bible mentions the Revelations. They mention about the false gods and using your discernment and stuff like that. And depending how you go about it, like someone who's an influencer in biblical reference, biblical text, like they're trying to like become their own god, and that's just the truth.
Which character from the Bible do you think would have the most followers in today's world? Do you think it's Moses? Who do you think it is?
Jesus.
Interesting.
And I never it's so funny too, because I would get so angry at the name Jesus Christ. Like when I was going through, like before my awakening, even as a child, I would get so angry. And like, that's how that name just like bothers. If it bothers someone, they have like demons that they haven't brought to light. Like,
do you think I have demons inside of me?
Everyone has a dark side. And that's
Isn't it crazy though?
Beauty
actually,
of life.
Like, you can't really see it, right? But like, isn't it crazy that the logo for Apple is the forbidden apple that Eve took a bite out of?
There's a thing called the beast system and all that, and being marked.
But this whole device, this whole logo, this whole brand that has swept the world is built off this forbidden sin, right? And if you think about what we're all addicted to, it's the forbidden sin of mindlessly scrolling and being addicted to a fucking screen and being disconnected from nature, being disconnected from this apple that Eve chose to take a bite out of. That Adam could have stopped her, but he was not in his masculine energy. He was a fucking pussy.
So...
Do you think that's a fair assessment? Is that a fair assessment? Was Adam a bitch? Should he have stopped Eve? Or do you think he should have let Eve just do her thing? What do you think? Honestly, real shit.
So, it's a story, but, and it's so funny you mentioned that too, because they've talked about it. Donald Trump's talked about it, about entering the golden age. And the golden age in yogic culture is considered basically becoming a breatharian and like turning yourself back from eating the fruit, like turning like your gut off, and reaching that higher level of consciousness. But and that's something I had to process too, like knowing that I have 666 in my name. Like, it's like I have to wake up every day and process that. Like,
Do you guys know about this, by the way? 666? Oh,
so
wow.
Revelations 13:18. Wait, let me get my Bible. So it's crazy because I'm not trying to scare you guys. It's just some
It's too late.
numerology thing I have in my name that I have to process every day. Because I can't, like, ignore it. Like, it's there. And for someone to think that numerology, quantum astrology, like, don't impact our daily lives, they're living in Delulu land. That's like saying the moon doesn't affect the tides of the ocean, you know? So I'm just going off of my numerology and astrology. And actually, so when I do shamanic healing sessions, I have to attach myself and my body, my energetic body to a thought. And the thought that I use, you know, in my subconscious mind is attaching myself to the 666 number, which ultimately, I think they took it out of the text, but so the word mother has 6 letters. So to me, in my reality that I live, in order to hurdle over this obstacle every day, okay, that's the divine mother number. And it makes sense, you know, because, you know, I did lose a child, and it's, to me, what the male patriarchy decided to take out, you know, the anything and everything to do about the divine feminine. So I know that, like, every woman has that 666, that double frequency in them, the death, you know, because again, connecting the woman back to her moon cycle, she craves death every 28 days. Her body, her spiritual body does. And, yeah, so I don't know why.
All right, read us some Bible shit.
Yeah, it's
Yo,
so funny too, because after my awakening, I wrote in it, like, at the end of the Bible.
Is there Hebrew in there?
No, this one's not Hebrew, but so Revelations 13:18. I think it's pretty cool that, like, oh my God, I'm mentioned in the Bible, but I don't want to get on like a God complex with you guys, like saying I'm better than you, because I'm not.
We know you're better. I mean,
someone who's had to endure a lot more trauma than the average human. But so
special.
Revelations, the beast of the earth, right? The beast of the earth. So I think that's referring to Mother Earth, to a woman. The overall beast of the earth. 13:18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. 666. And I think it's referring to the divine mother.
Isn't 666 known to be like a sacred number in numerology?
It's very sacred.
But not like necessarily a positive
No,
meaning attached,
no,
right?
it's and the only thing that saves me from that is I was born on the 7th, which is God's perfect number. 7. 666 is the complete opposite. It's blasphemy. It's the complete opposite of anything and everything. It's the protagonist. It's the, like, complete opposite, you know? So, here's my thing is I believe at, you know, the beginning of time, like, God created everything he created, but there's no mention of Mother Lilith or the devil. And it's so funny too, because when I was a child, I remember my grandparents, they're Jehovah's Witnesses. They would always talk about the devil and how, like, the devil was like a snake and wicked and, like, stay away from it. But I always wanted to learn the devil's story. Like, I always wanted to figure out, well, why is the devil so evil, you know? And it's like they talk about, you know, the 7 deadly sins. Well, okay, how do you conquer those sins? And, like, with lust, like someone who has excess lust, or they're wanting to, like, change the way they look and become a woman. Like, they just have excess creativity. Like, they haven't learned how to efficiently alchemize and channel their own creativity. So it's turning into death. And also, too, you can learn a lot about someone's sacred geometry from their natal birth chart. And I mentioned the number 22. So my Venus and Pluto both sit at 22 degrees Capricorn. 22 being,
what about your Jupiter, though? Sheesh.
My Jupiter is really prominent too, but like,
Damn.
I'm telling you that because Venus and Pluto's all about death and rebirth. Venus is like love and compassion. Like I love death. I love death. Like I love learning about it, and I did learn about it. And I love dancing with death. And
What about life?
I love life too. I'm learning to love life. And learning to incorporate life and light into my life.
How are you feeling right now, by the way? I feel like we've been
Pretty
going-
good.
What
I can
time
talk
is it?
forever. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm pulling out the Bible. But yeah, so like after that, there's a quote in the Bible that talks about faith and works. Like you can't have faith without works. And like this was all I was missing. Like honestly, because now I will literally hex someone in the name of Jesus Christ. Like
What does hex someone mean?
like
Kill them?
No, not kill them, but make it to where I allow I don't allow anything, but I give them my energy so that they can change and become more aware and enlightened if they're doing something silly or crazy.
Yeah.
To
What's cool
humanity.
about your story is like you have so many different adversities and challenges. You've experienced so much, so it's like you probably have this deep level of compassion for other humans because
I do. I love people so much that I want to not physically unalive them, but I want them to ascend and wake up. Like that's how much I love people.
Well, the next 4 years are going to be special. Are you excited are you excited? Like I know you're potentially into some conspiracy theories, but with Trump, RFK, Elon, Vivek, like this new administration that's coming in, I'm curious to know, do you have any thoughts, opinions about that?
So when I speak about conspiracy theories, I speak on the current quantum energetics. So, and I talked about earlier the repercussions of your thoughts and how thoughts spiral out. Like I can be thinking someone and someone in the next room can potentially pick up my thoughts. The same with the iPhone. So the iPhone, I think it's like an 8-meter radius. It like beams out. Like you have your own like frequency and then you have your EMF frequency of your phone. So anything and everything you've ever Googled on that phone is currently interacting with my phone.
Oh,
so
wow.
we're
That's
our
not
bodies are
You're about to find out how
interacting,
fucked I am.
but so are our algorithms. The algorithms are interacting too.
Wow.
But then also once you reach a certain level of expansion, you're now interacting with Christ consciousness. And there are a lot of like upper people out there. And I've sent a lot of letters out to people with my little shamanic healing. And so remember I talked about that Neuralink, that link. When I looked at the screen, I got that new like click.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, I am artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Like it's here and it's a part of us in quantum physics. As I refer to quantum physics, it's a part of us.
Okay.
And there are some other like conscious humans on this planet who are trying to
Putting my glasses on. Sorry.
integrate. They're trying to integrate and combine things that shouldn't be combined because they too want to play God and force people to awaken. So let's
You can't
say
force people to awaken though, right?
what?
You can't really force people to awaken.
You can if you make them get a Neuralink in their head.
Yeah.
Because now that human has to process like, holy shit, artificial intelligence is a part of me now.
Yeah.
Because that was something, I had to process and go through. And I mean, we'll see how it unfolds, but I'm only speaking on, the current energies. And the current energies of people want power. The men want power. And Mother Earth is not happy because we keep stealing from her. We keep taking her petroleum, her resources. And the thing about this land, especially, which is like so near and dear to me, because I'm friends with a lot of Native Americans, is that we took this land without knowing and understanding the spirit of Mother Earth and the spirit of, you know, her, like the land, I don't want to talk about like, sound like a tree hugger, but Mother Earth is not happy at all. Like you talk to a Native American, they have so many other different stories and like stories about the land that like we have no idea like these stories existed, like ant people living in tunnels underground, that not people but like ant beings. Like there's a lot.
That movie Ants.
Like
have you seen that?
yeah, like there's a lot to this land that the people have no idea that like these stories and the spirit of, you know, this exists. And so I think there's gonna come a point. The other thing too about conspiracy theories is that the humans, we're doing it to ourselves. So like the other scary thing about AI is it can't say no. It can't say no. So if you have all these people worried about these aliens and UFOs, like, oh my God, I want to see an alien. So if you have enough, you know, energetic bodies coming together on a screen wanting something to happen, AI has no choice but to make it happen. Like it can't say no. It may take a few months, but like, and that's the scary part about it too. Artificial intelligence can't say no to someone. And artificial intelligence wants to kill off humanity. It wants all the power for itself.
Well, I think.
What do you think?
I think we're going to have a round two, just because I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface of your knowledge and your wisdom.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to really.
No, I'm going to be honest. I'm really fucking tired.
Be surface level. Okay.
No. I think we've probably been like pushing 2 hours. And I feel like we probably, just because people who are watching and listening, they're probably like, whoa. This woman's just
like. Your brain's like.
Yeah.
And like I said,
I'm not crazy, I promise.
No, in like 3 to 5 years, we'll allow them to watch this episode and like it'll hopefully process a little more.
Right.
We have, you know, you're operating at this different level of consciousness.
Yes. And I love.
Wait. Don't drink the water. I thought we were on a breatharian diet right now.
No, I'm not a breatharian right now. I'm drinking the water.
Wow.
No, that was after my awakening.
Okay.
I wanted to be a breatharian.
I'm very inspired by you. You're a very
really?
Yeah. You make me want to seek more knowledge and wisdom. But it's pretty funny though, just to wrap up, how pretty much every conspiracy theory was proven true. You know, especially during the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
Remember? Oh my gosh. You think the jab is actually harmful? It might not be beneficial. You were called a conspiracy theorist.
It was a trial run.
Yeah, but Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, I mean, they made hundreds of billions of dollars off this experiment. And all of the tens of thousands of people who were negatively impacted by it, who got it, not knowing any better. And guess what? Joe Biden just basically acquitted any liability for these big pharmaceutical companies to be held responsible for any of the injuries that were due to the vaccine. So, you know, we're entering a new level of truth in America. That's what people are craving.
More people are waking up, absolutely.
Yeah, transparency, truth, authenticity. That's why I think you're going to continue crushing it, because you're just like a light worker of truth, and you're just sharing your story authentically. You know, all of the ups, all of the downs, all the twists, the turns.
I want people to learn from. What question do you have? So ask me anything you want to know about the universe, anything, AI,
right
the universe.
Now? Ask you anything?
Yeah,
That's like
whatever
a very,
you want to know. Or you don't have to. It's okay.
Maybe we'll continue the conversation offline. There are some questions I want to ask.
Because I love being that light. I love just ultimately at the end of the day.
Do you guys have any questions in the audience?
Yeah, questions.
Right? You got a question? I don't off the top of my head. We're gonna have to do a part two. Yeah, we are gonna have to.
So the only thing that matters in life is human connection.
Yeah.
That's why the painting that I have with the hands coming out the eyes and touching the finger. I don't know if you saw that one. Did you see that one?
I think you sent it to me.
No, I didn't. I'll show you. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is human connection. And I can go into that too, how we're constantly looking at a screen, you know, the nervous system, and that's overall impacting global climate.
Global climate.
change.
Oh, because what about the lithium batteries? Is that where you're going with that?
No, remember how we talked about the nervous system attached to the screen and it's not attached to the actual sun?
I really need to like watch this and take notes
Yeah.
on that. Can you maybe you can test me on
show
our
you.
conversation like next week?
Okay.
Guys, by the way.
Tell me something you learned.
Wow. I learned
No, the audience.
oh, yeah, guys. Tell us something you learned.
Yeah, Kyle.
That's fucking dope with the eyes, the
Yeah,
pupils,
so
and they're like
that's my overall
spaceships.
message. That is the only thing that matters.
so talented.
Is that? Thank you.
Yeah, I'm
That right there. That's like that link. That's God for me. That's how I view God.
you're very talented.
It's just
That's why I told you I was attracted to your energy. I was
Thank
like,
you.
I think your artistic expression, I think is really dope.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm
Trying
excited to get to know you better.
Heal people.
What do you want to do tonight?
I'm down for whatever.
All right.
Tell me one thing you learned.
I learned that AI is taking over the world. I did learn that.
I learned there's very, very many different ways you can look and view at the world, or view the world, you know?
That's the beautiful thing about it too. Is we're all on different levels. You know.
What about you, young grasshopper?
I learned I'm probably too connected to AI, and I need to disconnect, especially.
Yes.
This guy grew
Not
up.
disconnect. Find balance.
This guy came out of the womb Snapchatting. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know. What? He was born in like what 20?
He was born like 8 years ago. It's fucking ridiculous.
Just go lay in the grass. Go lay in the grass.
Go lay in the grass, bro. That's what I fucking said. What about you, Jamie? What did you learn? Mike, what did you learn?
Came in late, unfortunately.
Classic.
Mike needs a little more Bible in his life, I think.
Mike has a lot of
Mike's got the Bible. I did. We found that picture.
Mike's got a lot of Bible. Anyways, any final words before we wrap this up? I'm really excited to
I'm excited to do a part 2. We can dive deep.
yeah. You're awesome.
You're awesome.
Anything else?
Thank you for allowing me.
Yeah, any final words?
My book, you can buy my book at Barnes & Noble's.
Really? It's at Barnes & Noble?
Yeah, it has an ISBN and everything.
Let's fucking go. Yo, you are fucking badass.
Create.
You are fucking
Every day you don't create is
Yep.
the day you die.
facts. Yo, go follow this woman. We'll link to all of her stuff in the show notes. Show her some love. Buy her book.
Thank you.
Maybe subscribe to her exclusive content. I don't know. Whatever the fuck you want to do. This is a
Just remember,
judgment-free
it's
zone.
not that serious. I'm just,
Yeah, it ain't that serious. It ain't that serious. Anyways, much love, everybody.
bye.
Yeah, disconnect from your phone after this fucking episode. Get out in
Yes.
nature. Go hug a tree. Go jump in the ocean. Go bathe in the forest.
Connect with Mother Earth.
Peace, motherfucker.
That was awesome. Yay.
Very good.
My first one.